Our latest big conversation here on the show, a familiar face has returned. Paige Hauschild back in water polo. Paige, how are you?
I'm doing great, Greg. I'm happy to be back.
Yeah, glad to have you back. You're joining us from Spain right now. You just signed on to play some club water polo alongside Jewel Romer. We have a lot to unpack, but I guess first to start there, how's life in Spain? What's it been like to jump into a pro season here?
Yeah, it's been fun. It's been a lot really fast. So I've been here for just over 3 weeks now. Um, and yeah, I mean, it's kind of crazy to say that too. Like 3 weeks feels like it's flown by. Because starting with the team pretty much mid-season, so kind of had to get up to speed quickly. And yeah, so things have been busy, but it's been good. I love my team. Everyone's been so welcoming and helped me kind of get my feet underneath me. So yeah, and it's great, like you said, having Jewel here, and also two of my former teammates from USC are on the team as well. So it feels very comfortable, and they've all been super helpful, helping me get acclimated to life here. But yeah, I'm
Yeah,
happy.
that's awesome. Yeah, Tilly Kearns
Yeah.
on your team as well. USC fans will remember. So let's kind of back it up. I think obviously people see your name pop up and they're like, of course, Paige, USC, Team USA, right? You had this pretty epic run, right? Really strong college career. Go to Tokyo, kind of live through that postponement of the games and the pandemic. Gold medal, finish at USC, and then kind of take us through what's next, right? Because then after that time, you weren't playing with Team USA anymore. So what kind of happened in that time, and what led you to step away from water polo after you were done at USC?
Yeah. Um, Kind of a loaded question. I feel like I could talk about this for a long time because there was a lot of factors that played into me just deciding to step away ultimately. But I think for me, I still had 2 more years at USC after Tokyo. So after I finished at Tokyo, I went into my junior year of school at USC, did a lot of reflecting. And I think everyone knows like the mental side of the game is just as important as the physical. I know what everyone talks about most is the physical side of things, and just that's the nature of sport. But I think for me, when I was reflecting a bit after Tokyo, and thinking about starting training for Paris, I I don't think my heart was really in it, just to be quite honest. And the more I thought about training for Paris, it just didn't sound like something I wanted to do. And especially on every team I've been on, but especially on Team USA, we do so much um, reflecting and thinking on like finding your purpose on your team, and so finding your why and your reason for being there and wanting to be a part of Team USA. And that was really easy for me during the Tokyo quad. I wanted it so badly. And even on the hardest days, I would always go back to why I wanted to be there. And that would help get me through the toughest battles and the toughest days of training. And you just really need that desire to be there because it's a grueling process. And when I was thinking about training for Paris, I didn't have that same passion or desire that I did before Tokyo. And for me, that was pretty telling. It's hard to go through a process like that if you're not 110% in it. And I just felt like my heart wasn't in it. And that wouldn't be fair for me to put myself through that, put my teammates, the program. Like if I can't give my 110%, that's not fair to not only myself, but so many other people. So ultimately, decided to take an internship after it was the summer of after my junior year of school. That again led to me getting a job after my senior year. And just like I said at the time, that's the thought of pursuing that career path and learning something new and challenging myself in new ways was really exciting. And on the contrary, I didn't know if I wanted to play water polo. So for me, that was pretty telling. I just wanted to finish out those 2 years at USC, graduated, took a job, moved up to San Francisco for that. And then, yeah, ultimately decided that would be the end of my water polo career. That was a long-winded one. I don't know if
No,
that was kind of all over the
that's great.
place.
I think that's what people were wondering, right? So it takes you
Yeah.
kind of A to Z through kind of your thought process. That is a tough choice, and I
Mhm.
imagine either people said these things to you or you had these thoughts of, I'm on the greatest team that ever existed and we just won another gold medal. How
Yeah,
could I possibly not keep going with this?
for sure. Yeah.
I'm young. I'm still really good at this. How can I not keep going with this? I have this college setup, which I think a lot of people love, that kind of runway of come back to school after the Olympics. That for so many, I think softens the like Olympic hangover, like the
Yeah.
cushion of school and play.
Totally.
And then really the timing was nice, right? 2 seasons and then right back into maybe a more grueling schedule. I say all those things to ask how hard is it to know all those things and say, you know what? No, I have to do what's
Yeah.
best for me.
Yeah. It was very hard. I think when I thought about my next 5 years or next 10 years when um, I was in college, it was always to go for Tokyo, to go to Paris, and then maybe LA, like reassess when we get there. But so in my head, that was always part of my plan. And I was the youngest person on our team in Tokyo. And I think everyone expected that of me. I expected that of myself. Um, and so, yeah, like you said, also, I loved my team so much, still do, not past tense. I love them so much. And I had such a great experience um, before, like leading up to Tokyo. And like you said, we had such a talented team as well. Leaving with Olympic gold is a dream come true. So all of those things, like it was pretty crazy for me to think like, am I actually going to do this? Am I actually going to step away? And I just think kind of touching again on what I mentioned at the beginning, I really wanted to put myself first, and this was definitely different than what I had planned, but I knew in the moment that that's what was going to be best for me, to take care of myself mentally and pursue something that I wanted. And just, yeah, at the time, that's what I needed, and that's what was best for me. So it definitely sucked to tell some people no. And I had that question come up all the time, like, what are you doing? And I was, like you said, I was very young when I stopped, and um, yeah, so I just had to stick to my guns. I think I was following my heart and I knew that's what was right for me. And I think those who care about you most and those who know you the best will always support what's best for you. So I think definitely some people were like looking at me a little crazy. But I was very happy with that decision. And ultimately, looking back now that I'm playing water polo again, maybe I'm jumping the gun here a bit when it comes to your questions, but I don't
Good.
think I would be here playing water polo today and being in the situation I'm in if I didn't do that for myself at that time. And frankly, this was never part of the agenda. I didn't stop thinking I was coming back. I stopped thinking I was done for good. But obviously, life's got a crazy way of, taking you down a wild journey. So this wasn't what I was expecting, but I think because I listened to myself then, ultimately it allowed me to be here today. And so I'm super happy about that.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like some really important internal work done there to kind of figure out how you're actually feeling. And
Yeah.
you're right. You get that question a lot. I think even those that love you the most are so excited for this like dream that you've been talking about. It's like hard for them to let it go the same way that it is for you to let it go,
For
like,
sure.
but also differently,
Yeah.
So, which is tough to process, right? Like people want you to be happy, but they're also like, man, we all wanted this for you. Sometimes you
Totally.
can't want something more for someone than they want it for themselves.
Yeah. And I think especially um, for me and my family, um, like Tokyo, we couldn't have fans there. And so all my closest friends and family weren't able to be there to watch me, live out my Olympic dreams in person. So for them and then when I told them like I was no longer, or they were there through the whole process and talking it out and whatnot. But once I think I came to that conclusion that I didn't want to play anymore, I think that was definitely, like you said, um, a bummer for them. But like I also mentioned, like they wanted what was best for me, but it's hard not to feel like you're letting people down. But again, I just think you got to do what's best for yourself. And yeah, it's not always easy, but it'll always lead you to the right path, in my opinion. So, yeah.
And even being, because you were how old when you graduated USC, when you were done there?
23.
23, right? So I think even people look at that and say, man, only 23, but the water polo grind you were on since what, like 12? I mean, you taught like club and then, the
Mhm.
national team kind of climbing those ranks. Like you've been busy in water polo for a long time. And so
Mhm.
even though I think age wise, it's young, there's like a lot of miles, right? And have
Yeah.
swum and all that sort of stuff. So that's, I think, also something that people don't always realize. You finish, you take a job. What's it like to completely step out of sports at a very high level and
Yeah.
just be someone in the office?
It's super weird. I was like, it can't be that weird. Like, I don't know. I didn't. It was really weird. Like you mentioned, I've been playing water polo for as long as I can remember, honestly, and I've had my schedule handed to me, like every single day I had mapped out for me. Like someone said, this is where you're going to be on these dates. This is like, yeah, here's your flight info or housing. You're going to be living here. Everything I like down to the minutes of my day had been something that was always scheduled for me. And so just to have so much, um, I just like so much agency to decide what I wanted to do. And it was weird. But frankly, it was great. I do think habits and things just that you learn through sport and growing up that way obviously carried into my day to day as just a corporate girl. But yeah, it was definitely crazy just to have so much free time. And I'm like, oh, I don't have to work out today if I don't want to. Like that was different. And like I'll go for a walk. Like what a concept. So yeah, it was different. A lot of positives from it, but also some things I missed for sure. So yeah.
How often did your sports resume come up? Like, could you escape being Olympic gold medalist Paige Hauschild, or would someone just casually drop that into a conversation at work every now and again? And you'd have to be like, well, yeah, I actually did all these things.
Yeah. Um, I think honestly, I didn't bring it up unless someone asked.
Oh, you
And
weren't just going around like, excuse me, let me stop
well,
this meeting and just tell
no.
you about Tokyo.
And it's funny because people would say, oh, why did you never tell me? I'm like, we met like last week. What am I supposed to, like, nice to meet you. I'm an
Paige
Olympic gold
Hauschild, gold
medalist.
medalist at your
Like, okay.
service. Glad
No,
to.
yeah. So, yeah, I honestly, a lot of people in my office didn't know for a long time. And then obviously people who I worked very closely with did. But then it was before, or no, it was during the Paris Olympics. I think no, because that was, oh no, it was during the Paris Olympics. They found out that I went to the Olympics, like some higher up people, and so then they had me bring my medal, and I spoke, and we had one of the girls' games in Paris that was up playing in the lobby of our office, which was really cool. But yeah, I some people knew, some people didn't. It wasn't something I led with when making new friends. So yeah, it was sometimes obviously I part of the conversation, but yeah.
What was it like to watch the Paris Games, and did what you saw there impact what you're doing now at all?
Um yeah, it was bittersweet for sure because obviously it's hard just to flip a switch and not have that competitive fire anymore. Like it's not just something that goes away. And so watching all my friends out there, of course, part of me like wants to be there, or I don't know. But I think I was obviously at that time I was very content where I was at. So it was just frankly fun to watch my friends compete. And I talked to so many of them leading up to the Paris Olympics like all the time. So it was really fun just to follow along with their journey before Paris and I'm so nosy, and I was like, okay, well, what was training like today? Like, how's Adam being? Is he in a good mood or a bad mood today? Like, I wanted to know all the details. So I was very invested, and like I said, bittersweet watching because it was so fun, and I know how hard that they worked to get there. And but like bitter in the sense that like part of me was like, oh, I'd love to be there with my friends, but it was fun to watch. Yeah, well, no, obviously always, whether I was on the team or not, and even before in previous games before Tokyo, like watching Team USA was always something that's been super fun for me. So yeah.
So now fast forward, getting back in the pool with Team USA recently over the last few months, and now playing club. I want to go back to there has to be a specific moment in the last, I don't know, year or year and a half, whenever it was. What was like the first kernel of the idea that I might want to do this again? When did that hit you?
Yeah. It was actually, it's kind of funny. So I got a phone call from Tilly Kearns, and I was working from home at the time, just sitting at my little desk in my house, and Tilly called me, which we do often, so I didn't think anything of it. She was like, so I have a proposal for you, and ended up saying that there was a spot on their team here, and asked if I would be interested. And I just immediately like laughed. It's like, I haven't played water polo in like 2 years now, and I have a job and an apartment, like all these things, and basically every excuse or reason as to why I shouldn't do it immediately popped into my head. And then we hung up, and she was like, just think about it. And I just laughed. I'm like, yeah, okay. And then the rest of the day, I like really couldn't focus on work. And then I ended up talking to a lot of people who I'm close to about the idea. And at this time it was strictly just playing in Spain. And for me, it's like you mentioned, Jewel is here, and Mireia and Tilly are two of my best friends from USC. And I'd get to live with all three of them and play with them again in Spain. Like, it was just the perfect setup. And so I was talking to family and friends and people about their thoughts, and every single person was like, why wouldn't you? Like, when are you ever going to have the chance to live in Spain with some of your best friends ever again? And the more I thought about it, I was like, that's so true. And so I ultimately decided that was what I was going to do. And so I had like 2 months at the time to get back into shape before coming here in January. Maybe 3 months roughly. But yeah, so started playing water polo again. Ryan Neuschel was in Santa Barbara at the time, so her and I were training a ton together. And her sisters as well, all the Neuschels, Cammie Craig. We had a little crew going where we were playing water polo together. And I just found myself having fun again. And I think, like I mentioned, that was something I definitely lost for a while after Tokyo, and part of the reason I stepped away. And the more I was playing with the idea of, national team stuff. And it's something that had crossed my mind before. Adam and I would talk here and there. So it's something that I had considered, but didn't really think was ever going to happen. But then once I was playing again to come here to Spain, then I was like, maybe I could do it. And it happened all kind of quickly. I mean, obviously it's something I thought a ton about. Like, it's not a decision I made lightly. But frankly, like, the thought of being back, like, it was really exciting, and I'm happy, that I'm super thankful, first and foremost, that Adam and the team was willing to give me that opportunity to come back. But yeah, I thought, why not? And talked to Ryan a bunch and some other people as well. And so it started as just an idea of coming here to Spain to live in Spain and play with friends. And then it evolved to hopefully going for LA 2028.
So Team USA fans have Tilly to thank. That's the reason.
Yeah, I guess. Oh no, it's gonna go straight to her head.
It's gonna be a new vlog she puts out on how she.
I know.
But there's something to just kind of a thread to pull on there. She knows a lot of people. She could have called a lot of people to say like, "Hey, we have a spot on my team."
Yeah.
Like your friend thought that there was something left in the tank for you. I imagine. Have you talked to her about that? About like why me as opposed to why not, 50 of the other talented women you might know?
Well, frankly, I think they reached out to some other people first. And they were like, well, no one said yes. Maybe Paige will
Like
come
cross her
back.
off the list.
I don't think I was the first phone call,
Oh,
Greg, to
that's
be
so
honest.
good.
Um,
They're like, we
but
might. Does someone have Paige's number still? Is she
yeah,
around?
literally, I was like, who? Oh no. Yeah, that's funny. I don't really know why. I mean, I think she's a good friend of mine, obviously, and um, I went on a trip with her to coach water polo in Zimbabwe this summer, and like we had such a great time there. And so, I think, and I think when I was there, that being back in the water polo community as well kind of helped ignite that spark for me. And I think she saw that a bit. Um, at the time, it wasn't so much for playing again; it was just like being around the pool deck more, whether that was coaching or whatever. And so, yeah, that was really fun. And I think she knew that I felt that way. I don't know why she called me. She probably just wanted to hang out together. I don't know. She was
Yeah.
like, I don't think it was because of my water polo abilities. I told them, I was like, you guys, it's been 2 years. Like,
Yeah.
I was not in good water polo shape. So,
That's
um,
that's like my next question, right? So you kind of get back
yeah.
out there, you're training in Santa Barbara. Um, you kind of do this assessment of like where you're at skill wise. I think so many people have talked about water polo. You can't be halfway in it, and it's a hard sport to play if you haven't been doing it at some level. There's so many much older retired Olympians that won't do masters because like
Mm.
it's either the way that it was or not at all, and
Yeah.
it's hard to have that in between. So as
Yeah.
you're kind of in the pool and you're like starting to get the feel back, what's the thing where you're like, oof, like this is the thing I need to like dial in first. That's not where it needs to be.
All of it. All of it, Greg. No, I just think definitely swimming first was a big thing. I would play here and there with O Club when I was in San Francisco, but definitely not enough to feel like I was in really good water polo shape. But yeah, I think once I just started swimming again, that was kind of where I started. Before I even picked up a ball, I was just doing swim sets, and that was step number one. And once I felt as though I had made some progress there, that's when I started, actually playing more and shooting and all of that. And it was definitely, it felt so foreign at first. Like water polo's, like you said, a sport that like you got to keep up with if or else you lose it quick. And I yeah, I had a hard time at first, like just I guess coping with the fact that like so many of these things that used to be so easy for me were all of a sudden very difficult. But it came back quickly. To be honest, I was surprised at how quickly things started to come back. It's just muscle memory, I guess, from like decades of water polo prior. So that was exciting, but it was definitely. I remember Tim, our strength coach on Team USA, was the first person who, because one of my next steps was okay, I need to start lifting again, um, and he was one of the first people that was like, okay, you need to, you know, take a step back, like hit the brakes a little bit, because of course you don't want to get injured. And first, like when I was thinking about things I should do to get back into shape, my head just goes to what I was doing when I was at USC or when I was with the national team. But it's not something that's possible when you haven't played for 2 years. So we had a good conversation, and it's easy to want to rush back into things and get back to where you were. But just reminding myself that like it will come, and I'm still very much getting back to where I want to be. So it's a journey, and I've had to learn patience. And yeah, there's a lot of lessons that have kind of come in this short period of time already. So um, yeah, I'm just taking it day by day.
And then to come back to Team USA, what does that conversation with Adam look like? How do you go about saying, "Hey, I know we've talked. I'm like now I'm ready to do this."
Yeah. Um, I sent him. We had a really long phone call. It was like the first things first, and then he ended up coming to Santa Barbara, and we had a conversation about it. But yeah, I just told him where I was at, and as I mentioned before, it's something that him and I had tossed around before, but typically in like a more of a joking manner. Um, so it wasn't something I was like seriously considering. So I think he was definitely surprised to hear that things had changed for me. But I was just honest with him about where I was at. And even when I stepped away, I was honest with him then about why. And he always respected that. Um, and has always been a person who wanted what was best for me. Obviously, he wants what's best for the team. Um, but he cares about all of us individually as well. I think more than anything, honestly. So he was always a big supporter of me stepping away and luckily of me coming back as well. So I was just honest and said where I was at. And luckily it worked out. He said he was willing to
Yeah.
let me back. So it worked out.
Sure, he made like a bunch of terrible jokes that didn't land, and then he said you come back on the team. So,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
so you're back in the mix now, playing club,
Mhm.
and I know this has been a long talk, so I appreciate you kind of sharing your journey. But
Yeah, of course.
you described at the top all the reasons why you stopped playing,
Mhm.
and the weight of the grind, and you know
Mhm.
just all the emotion that played into that. How do you make sure it's different this time? How do you make sure that when you go back into the right now it's club and it's lighter, right? But you know that if you want to do the LA thing come
Yeah.
2027, right, you're going to be in that intense double days, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
How do you set yourself up for success to make sure that it is everything you need it to be this time around? And I don't mean anything to do with results.
Yeah, of course. Um, I think um, me taking those 2 years off that when I was working and that really helped me kind of gain new perspective on it all. Frankly, I think my first go around, I was very scared and um, I don't know. I think I was focusing a lot of times on the wrong things and prioritizing um, prioritizing, the wrong things. And I know that's vague, but I think for me, this go around, I having my time away realized helped me realize what I missed and what I took for granted when I was in this process. And I think being able to just see things in a different light and have, approach things with more gratitude um, will definitely help, and just shift your mindset on things. And just like I said, little things that you take for granted, just being with the team and having the opportunity to travel and um, compete and those things that when you're in it feel like such a chore. I think once it's gone, you realize how special it really is. And so I just think kind of that shift in perspective will help throughout my journey. Yeah, just looking at things with some gratitude and just feeling really lucky to have this opportunity again and to be doing something that I love um, yeah, it's really special.
Two more for you. The people
Mhm.
that were stunned when you stepped away and were like, "Oh man, what's been their reaction when you've been able to tell them like, guess what? Like, I'm back in."
Oh, I mean, everyone I've talked to has been super supportive. Um, yeah, a lot of people were like, oh, some people were like, honestly, like I was hoping that this day would come. Like we were so bummed when, some people's true reactions or honest thoughts came out that maybe I didn't hear
I'm
before.
just happy for you, Paige. Now.
Yeah. So yeah, that was funny. But frankly, I've just been met with so much support and excitement. So yeah, I mean, that's all I could hope for. And
And
yeah.
then I always, if the topic applies, I think ask our guests here, like if there's some advice they could share with someone else. And I think this has been like a water polo story wrapped in really someone
Yeah.
prioritizing like their mental health and well-being, right? And
Hmm.
you
Yeah.
doing what's best for you. So if there's someone out there that feels like this is all like too heavy for them, or they need to make a change, I guess, like what do you share with people, and what have you learned in how to do what's best for you and know that it's going to be okay on the other side?
Yeah, I think it's scary to, take any kind of leap, whether that's starting something new, changing whatever plans people had for you or whatever plans you had for yourself. Like it's always scary. And I think that you know yourself better than anyone else does. And really just going with your gut and following your heart. And I know there's a quote that's like, I'm going to butcher it, but something about like, it doesn't have to make sense to other people if it makes sense to you, something along those lines. But I think it's so true. Like, I think a lot of people were confused when I stepped away, and others were also confused when I came back. But frankly, I know my journey hasn't really looked perfect, but it's what was perfect for me. And I just look at all the things that I get to do now and things that I got to do when I stepped away. And I'm so proud of myself for putting myself first. It's a scary thing to do. And I would just encourage anyone who's, no matter what that gut feeling is, just following it and always putting yourself first and doing what's best for you. Because at the end of the day, it's always going to lead you down the right path. Yeah. And it doesn't have to always be pretty. It doesn't have to look perfect. My journey hasn't. And yeah, but it's perfect for me. So I think always following your heart will always lead you in the right direction.
That's great stuff. Paige, appreciate the time. Glad to have you back, and
Thanks,
sounds like
Greg.
you're loving life in Spain, and looking forward to seeing you back with Team USA soon as well.
Perfect. Thanks, Greg.